greetings from Toronto. How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm
Great.
great. I'm great.
How you doing?
Thank you so much for your time. I'm such a big fan of both of yours, and congratulations on this. I want to start by saying, ever since COVID, I mean, if there were any positive things about COVID, I started listening to podcasts out of the wazoo. I couldn't find enough to keep me happy while I was walking or doing whatever. So, Adam, let's start with you. Is it something that was kind of new to you, a new experience? Are you a podcast fan?
I was kind of an early adopter and started listening a long time ago, and always loved the freedom of it, of being in control of what you're listening to and when and how versatile it was. You could listen in your car, when you're walking around, whatever. And so I've always loved it, and also the minutia of whatever subject matter you're interested in. There's deep
Right.
dives on everything.
Yeah.
So I think it's fun, and the explosion in the last. I mean, I feel like it was really since what was the podcast that really blew podcasting wide open, like
Yeah.
7
I know which one you're thinking about. I'm blanking.
Serial,
Yeah, Serial.
Serial,
Oh, yeah,
right?
that was, yeah.
Yeah.
which was outstanding.
Yeah.
And so since then, there's been much more than there was before, at least as far as podcasts go. And I think it's great. It's great to have all this selection. The problem now is being able to catch up with all the ones that you follow.
Exactly. Now, Kate, for you to be able to have this opportunity, for both of you, but Kate, as an actor, to get this opportunity to have like a full-length movie, but do it just as an audio version, what is that like for you? How freeing is that?
Yeah, it's a very new kind of acting. I mean, it's funny. It's not really that different. I feel like all acting is sort of the same in a lot of ways. But then there are little things that you have to adjust to, and that make it fun, and that make it a new experience. Not being able to rely on any visuals is something that you're obviously constantly battling and catering to. And so that was the fun aspect of it. And the new sort of challenge that I hadn't experienced before as an actor. So that's why I wanted to do it, was to have that experience and see what that would be like.
Yeah, and Adam, same question basically for you, because is it really stretching a different acting muscle? I mean, I would think it's very different than maybe just doing a voiceover for, I mean, you've done Big Mouth, you know what I mean, for a cartoon or something that's animated. This is a whole new world. So where does your mindset go to get into the character? Is it any different? And how do you adapt to that?
Yeah, it's completely different, and in a really good way. Like Kate said, you're not depending on any sort of visual side of the picture to be filled in later. It's all you. It's all your voice, and it's kind of a balance of wanting to sound real, but also be able to fill out the whole picture with just your voice. And a lot of that comes back to the script and how strong the script was. If it wasn't so good, Kate and I would have to work harder to convey whatever was going on and push the story along. But since it was a really tight, great 100 pages or whatever it was, we were able to just read our scenes and do our job, knowing that the whole thing is the kind of architecture of it is all being supported, and it makes our jobs a lot easier. But yeah, it's a completely different thing, and it was really fun.
Yeah, I can imagine. Kate, take me a little bit through the process. Like, do you guys work opposite each other, like in this one room, or how does it work? Is it like animation where you're in booths by yourself? Give us a little bit of the behind the scenes of what it's like to create something like this. And okay, well, I'll get to my second question after. Sorry, I have so much to ask, so I'm dying to talk to you.
No, it was cool. I mean, funnily enough, for this, we probably wouldn't have needed to be in the same. Well, we wouldn't have had to see each other.
Yeah.
but we were able to, because we just had screens up and we were via Zoom, because we were in different places. So we were acting together, which was great. And our director was also in New York in her own booth, so she was also on the Zoom as well. But yeah, it's so helpful to be able to do it together and to not, have to also imagine what the other side of the conversation is sounding like.
Right.
It's an advantage for sure.
Yeah, I can imagine. And Adam, yeah, my other question was, when you're on a movie, on a TV show, whatever you're doing, you're there, you have sets, you have things to kind of act off of. Here, you're just kind of standing behind a mic, and like, what kind of, imagination muscle are you flexing there and working off, Kate? It's nice that she said that you could work off each other, but to keep that suspense, it's like I was on the edge of my seat listening to this. It was amazing.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, it was that's part of the fun of it. I mean, yeah, you have to stretch your imagination muscle, just like a listener will need to, and hopefully we're filling out a certain amount of the picture, and then they come to it with the rest of it in their head, kind of like when you're reading a book, you're kind of picturing it all in your head. I mean, but also I will say, like, shooting a show or movie or whatever, you're also having to use your imagination, because
Yeah.
everything except what you see on camera is lights and people, and then there's this camera in your face. And so
Right.
I think it's just as actors in other mediums, we're used to blocking out a certain amount and using our imaginations to make one thing or another feel real or whatever. So you're totally right that we had to do that, but I hadn't even really thought of that until now, that yeah, we were just sitting in a booth. I mean,
Right.
but it was just sort of instinct to try and make that feel as real as possible.
Yeah, it felt so good, and Kate, just to wrap it up, a couple more questions for you guys, and I'll wrap it up. But earlier or last year, watched your amazing performance in A Teacher, and there's so much
Oh,
going
you're
on.
so great in that.
Oh my God.
So great.
Honestly, I don't know how people walk by you in the street and didn't like go, this woman, oh my God, like I can't imagine the responses you got, because I'm a mom. And if my son's teachers ever tried that, my dear, okay, we could go somewhere else. But anyway, but again, but here you are in front of a camera, worrying about your makeup, worrying about this and your hair and that. When you're doing a podcast like this and having that kind of like an hour and a half to do a movie by just speaking. Is this something you're going to consider doing more of?
Yeah, I do hope that they make more of them. There aren't that many that are really being made. This is a new thing. So yeah, hopefully it catches on. And yeah, I love it. I love the like voiceover world and the podcast world so much. I find it really enjoyable and fulfilling, and like I get excited to go to work when I'm doing that. So yeah, I hope so.
I hope so too. You guys are so good. And last but not least, I cannot leave today, Adam, without saying how excited I am that Party Down is coming back.
Oh, good.
I mean, I'm such a huge fan of the original series, and mostly all of you are coming back. How exciting is that?
Yeah. Very. We're getting ready to start in January, and it's very, very exciting. I can't wait. Everyone's very ready to do this. We've had a lot of false starts over the years, so
Yeah.
it's going to be great.
I can't even imagine. Well, listen, thank you both for your time today. Again, I love this podcast, and I cannot recommend it more to my friends, and it's just so good. And I love you both, and happy holidays, and thank you for your time today.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
You're very
Thank you
welcome.
so much.
Your Canadian fans love you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.